Premiering in 1997, Smart Guy captivated America with the story of young genius T.J. Henderson and his warm, hilarious family. But 26 years later, the cast's real lives took very different turns. Some were struck down by illness, others walked away from Hollywood forever, while a few quietly rose to become global icons. Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind the laughter and honor the legacy they left behind, John Marshall Jones, as Floyd Henderson. John Marshall Jones was born on August 17, 1965, in Detroit, Michigan. At 32 years old, he played Floyd Henderson, a widowed father doing everything he could to raise 3 kids on Smart Guy in 1997. Strong, caring, and quietly funny, Floyd became the kind of dad every viewer wished they had in home. But behind the scenes, John's own life was far from perfect. His first marriage in the 1990s fell apart under the weight of work and distance. Endless travel, late calls, and the financial pressure of trying to make it in Hollywood turned love into a negotiation. The divorce hit hard. Custody battles, long nights alone, and the sinking realization that success can't fix what breaks at home. Years later, when he found love again, he tried to balance career and family, but the struggle followed him. He once admitted that therapy became his lifeline, helping him deal with the depression that crept in after years of emotional exhaustion. Work became his way forward. Roles in Blue Streak and The Wood reminded everyone how good he was: versatile, human, real. But it wasn't easy to keep the momentum between guest appearances and short arcs. He carried the same resilience as the fathers he portrayed. Now at 60 years old, John Marshall Jones continues to act, recently appearing in Apple TV Plus's For All Mankind as General Nelson Bradford. He also teaches acting through his own company, helping younger performers master their craft. His estimated net worth is around $1.2 million in 2025, modest but steady. More importantly, he's built a life defined by peace, balance, and second chances. Essence Atkins as Tasha Yvette Henderson. Essence Atkins was born on February 7, 1972, in New York City. At 25 years old, she played Tasha Yvette Henderson, the confident, quick-witted older sister in Smart Guy, 1997, the voice of reason in a family full of chaos. Her performance was warm and sharp at once, and audiences instantly loved her. In real life, Essence's story carried more heartbreak than comedy. She met her future husband, Jaime Mendez, online in 2008, and for a while it felt like a perfect love story. They married in 2009 and welcomed a son in 2011, but the happiness faded quickly. Career demands, long separations, and trust issues tore the relationship apart. By 2016, after years of trying, they divorced. Essence later said the loneliness of that period nearly broke her, and she had to rebuild herself piece by piece. Through the pain, she kept working. Her success in Half and Half made her a familiar face on television, while Deliver Us from Eva showed her strength on the big screen. Later, she found her rhythm again in shows like The X's Are We There Yet? And Marlon. Still, she confessed to struggling with anxiety and sleepless nights, reminders that healing doesn't happen overnight. Yet every role, every laugh, every tear on screen carried pieces of her truth, and that honesty made her unforgettable. Today, at 53 years old, Essence Atkins is thriving quietly. She continues to act and produce, choosing projects that reflect her growth and faith. She's also a devoted mother, raising her son with the same wisdom she once gave Yvette. Her net worth, estimated at $3 million, comes from decades of steady work, voice roles, and brand collaborations. Omar Gooding as Morris L. Mo Tibbs. Omar Gooding was born on October 19, 1976, in Los Angeles, California. At just 20 years old, he played Mo Tibbs, the funny, loyal, slightly clueless best friend in Smart Guy, 1997. His charm and comedic timing turned Mo into one of the show's most loved characters. the kind of friend who could make you laugh even in the worst moments. But while his character was carefree, Omar's real life was far more complicated. He never married, but fathered 3 children with different partners. Custody battles, child support disputes, and public arguments followed him for years. In 2019, things took a darker turn when he was arrested after a fight with a former girlfriend. The headlines hit hard, and several studios backed away from upcoming projects. Behind the tough exterior, Omar admitted he was spiraling. Therapy and community service became part of his rebuilding process, helping him find his footing again. Even through the turbulence, his talent never left him. His performance as Rodney in Baby Boy, 2001, showed a deeper, more dangerous side. A man trapped by his own anger. In Barbershop, 2002, he reminded audiences of his humor and warmth. Both roles proved what Smart Guy had only hinted at. He could do it all. But years of legal stress, depression, and a shoulder injury from filming took their toll. Fame had given him everything, and taken just as much away. By 2025, Omar is 48 and still working, acting, producing, and making music under his stage name, Big O. His estimated net worth is around $1.5 million, much of it earned from television, touring, and film royalties. He lives quietly in Los Angeles, focusing on his children and his mental health. Time and therapy have softened the edges. He's no longer chasing fame, only redemption. Jason Weaver as Marcus Henderson. Jason Weaver was born on July 18, 1979 in Chicago, Illinois. At 18 years old, he joined Smart Guy in 1997 as Marcus Henderson, the smooth-talking, lazy older brother whose jokes always landed right on cue. His confidence on screen came naturally, but behind the charisma was a young man shouldering more weight than anyone knew. In the same year the series aired, Jason became a father. His daughter, Maya, was born from a teenage relationship that quickly unraveled. What began as young love turned into years of conflict, custody battles, emotional tension, and public accusations that followed him into adulthood. In 2023, Maya's mother accused him online of being absent and emotionally manipulative, sparking controversy that forced Jason to respond publicly. He later admitted those years were the hardest of his life, describing fatherhood from a distance as a kind of living hell. Through it all, his voice and talent kept him afloat. His early success as Simba in The Lion King, 1994, had already secured his place in pop culture, and his later role in The Chi brought him critical acclaim and an Emmy nomination. Yet behind the applause, he wrestled quietly with anger and alcohol. Now, at 46 years old, Jason Weaver has found balance again. He continues to act in The Chi and lends his voice to new animated projects while mentoring young artists. His net worth stands at about $2 million, the result of years of steady work and smart royalties from Disney. Tahj Mowry as T.J. Henderson. Tahj Mowry was born on May 17, 1986, in Honolulu, Hawaii. At just 10 years old, he stepped into the spotlight as T.J. Henderson, the witty young prodigy who could outsmart everyone in Smart Guy, 1997. Over 51 episodes, Tahj carried the show with charm and humor far beyond his years, becoming one of television's most beloved child geniuses. Years later, Tahj's own story turned far more complicated. He married fitness instructor Dominique Provozek in 2012, and they welcomed a son 6 years later. From the outside, it looked picture perfect. But behind the smiles were long arguments about careers, schedules, and expectations. When accusations of infidelity surfaced in 2021, their marriage collapsed. The custody battle that followed was long and painful. Sleepless nights, loneliness, and the constant pressure of being a single father in the shadow of his famous sisters sent him into therapy for depression. Still, work remained his anchor. He found renewed success lending his voice to the Proud Family, and later starring as Tucker in Baby Daddy, 2012 to 2017, which earned him a Kids' Choice Award and brought laughter back into his life. Through acting and music, he learned to channel pain into performance. Tahj also spoke publicly about living with ADHD since childhood, encouraging fans to seek help and embrace their differences. Now, at 38 years old, Tahj Mowry lives quietly in California, raising his son and working on new film and music projects. He continues to appear on Disney Plus productions while producing behind the scenes. His estimated net worth is about $4 million, built from decades of steady work, voice roles, and royalties. Kyla Pratt as Brandy Dixon. Kyla Pratt was born on September 16, 1986, in Los Angeles, California. At 11 years old, she played Brandy Dixon, the sassy, confident girl who stole young TJ's heart in Smart Guy, 1997. Her playful energy and quick wit made every scene brighter, even at such a young age. Viewers adored her, but behind that charm, Kyla would later face the kind of heartbreak no sitcom could prepare her for. After years of growing fame, she found love with rapper and tattoo artist Danny Kirkpatrick. They dated for 7 years before marrying in 2011 and having 2 daughters. For a while, it seemed like happiness had finally found her. But Hollywood's pressure can be merciless. Rumors of Danny's infidelity and financial strain began to circulate, and by 2022, the couple separated. The breakup played out publicly through emotional Instagram posts. She later admitted the hardest part was being a mom alone while everyone whispered. Therapy became her lifeline as she battled anxiety and tried to rebuild stability for her children. Through the pain, Kyla never stopped working. Her voice as Penny Proud in The Proud Family and her starring role in One-on-One, 2001 to 2006, earned her award nominations and solidified her place in Black television history. She reprised Penny Proud in the Disney Plus revival and continued acting in films like Dr. Dolittle and The Memo, 2024. Even when struggling with asthma and exhaustion, she showed up to provide for her daughters and protect her peace to Dawai. At 39 years old, Kyla Pratt has grown into both a seasoned actress and a grounded single mother. She divides her time between film sets, voice studios, and school events, teaching her kids the resilience she learned the hard way. Her estimated net worth is around $2 million, the product of a lifetime of consistency and heart. Lisa Wilhoit as Tasha Page. Lisa Wilhoit was born on July 30th, 1981 in Hollywood, California. At 21 years old, she joined Smart Guy in 1997 as Tasha Page, Marcus's witty, confident girlfriend whose mix of humor and heart gave the show a sweet, grounded charm. Though she appeared in just 17 episodes, Lisa's natural warmth made her unforgettable. Behind the scenes, however, life would lead her down roads filled with quiet heartbreak and unexpected solitude. She married in 2005, welcoming a child soon after. For a while, it seemed like the stable, peaceful life many actors dream of. But by 2012, her marriage began to crumble. Career differences and the slow drift of emotional distance took their toll. The divorce was civil but deeply sad, leaving her to face the emptiness of shared memories that no longer felt shared. The loneliness that followed pushed her to step away from public life and focus on the art of voice. Lisa found healing behind the microphone. Her voice became iconic through King of the Hill, 1997 to 2010, where she brought depth and humor to the animated world, and later as Connie D'Amico in Family Guy. The studio became her sanctuary. Over time, she rebuilt her confidence, one role, one breath, one recording session at a time. Now at 49 years old, Lisa Wilhoit lives a calm, private life in Los Angeles. She continues to work as a voice actress, balancing creative freedom with motherhood. Her estimated net worth is around $1 million, modest but stable. The reflection of a woman who chose peace over chaos. J.D. Walsh as Mackie Nagel. J.D. Walsh was born on December 24, 1973, in Madison, Wisconsin. At 26 years old, he appeared in Smart Guy, 1997, as Mackie Nagel, the lovable but clueless classmate who brought comic relief to TJ's genius world. His energy was infectious, his timing perfect. But as his character fumbled through high school life, J.D.'s real adulthood would turn into a much more serious lesson in loss and recovery. In 2004, he married at the height of his career, just as his acting and writing opportunities were expanding. But behind the smiles and red carpets, tension was brewing. Arguments turned sharp, accusations sharper, and by 2010, his marriage ended with claims of emotional abuse and a brutal financial dispute that nearly bankrupted him. For a while, he disappeared from the public eye, rebuilding quietly from the ground up. Acting became his way back to balance. He found steady work, guest starring in shows like 2.5 Men and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, proving his versatility and wit. Behind the camera, he wrote, produced, and directed the Hulu series Battleground, 2012, earning respect as a creative mind with endurance. Slowly, the laughter returned. Today, at 54 years old, J.D. Walsh is remarried and living a more grounded life. He continues to act, write, and mentor younger performers in improv comedy, the art that first taught him how to turn pain into laughter. His estimated net worth is about $800,000, rebuilt with patience and perseverance. Dann Florek, as Coach Gerber. Dann Florek was born on May 1, 1950, in Flat Rock, Michigan. At 47 years old, he joined Smart Guy in 1997 as Coach Gerber, the tough but fair high school coach whose gruff humor and no-nonsense attitude balanced TJ's world of brilliance. Though he appeared in just 10 episodes, his steady presence gave the show a touch of wisdom. In real life, Dann's life mirrored the quiet endurance of his character. Married since 1987 to artist Karen Kosinski, his long union wasn't without strain. The grueling filming schedule of Law and Order, SVU, nearly broke them apart in 2000. He often found himself torn between long nights on set and the guilt of missing birthdays and dinners at home. The tension built until the couple sought counseling, something he later described as the hardest but best decision we ever made. With time, honesty, and therapy, they rebuilt the foundation of their marriage. Professionally, Dann became a household name. His portrayal of Captain Donald Cragen on Law and Order and Law and Order, SVU, 1990 to 2021, earned him 3 Emmy nominations and immense respect in the industry. For over 2 decades, his calm authority defined the show's moral compass. But behind that strength came real challenges. In 2020, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. After months of treatment and recovery, he emerged healthy and grateful, speaking openly about early testing and the importance of family support. Now, at 75 years old, Dann Florek enjoys a slower, more balanced life in Venice, Los Angeles, with Karen by his side. He occasionally appears in guest roles and spends much of his time painting and mentoring young actors. His net worth is estimated at $5 million, a testament to a lifetime of steady work and discipline. Tinsley Grimes as Nina Walsh. Tinsley Grimes was born on May 9, 1984, in the United States. At just 14 years old, she appeared in Smart Guy, 1997, as Nina Walsh, Yvette's clever and outspoken friend who added spark to the show's teen storylines. Her energy made her a natural fit for sitcom life, but when the cameras stopped rolling, Tinsley's path took an entirely different direction. After small roles in the OC and That 80s Show, she stepped back from acting to focus on education. In 2010, she married a fellow academic, and together they started a family. But by 2015, cultural differences and the pressures of parenting pulled them apart. Their divorce was private but deeply painful. The breakup pushed her to reevaluate everything: fame, family, and the meaning of success. Instead of chasing another role, she chose reinvention. She returned to school, earning a B.A. in English from UCLA and later a master's in child studies from Vanderbilt. In 2021, she entered medical school at the University of Pittsburgh, determined to specialize in psychiatry and help others heal the same kind of wounds she once carried herself. At 42 years old in 2025, Tinsley Grimes, now Tinsley Webster, lives far from Hollywood's spotlight, dedicating her life to mental health and child psychology. Her estimated net worth of about $700,000 comes mostly from her early acting work and academic fellowships. Taraji P. Henson as Leslie. Taraji Penda Henson was born on September 11, 1970, in Washington, D.C. At 27 years old, she appeared in Smart Guy, 1997, as Leslie, a confident, quick-witted young woman who charmed audiences with her warmth and humor. Though her role was brief, it was a small glimpse of the powerhouse she would later become. Taraji's love life has often mirrored the passion of her on-screen characters, bright, fiery, and full of heartbreak. In 1994, she gave birth to her son, Marcel, with her high school sweetheart, William Lamar Johnson. But tragedy struck when William was murdered in 2003, leaving Taraji to raise their child alone. The loss changed her completely. In 2018, she got engaged to former NFL player Kelvin Hayden, only to end the engagement in 2020 after struggling with distance and trust. The emotional toll led to therapy and her founding of the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation, named after her father, to support mental health awareness in the Black community. Despite the heartbreak, Taraji's resilience fueled her art. She soared to stardom with unforgettable performances in Baby Boy, 2001, Hustle and Flow, 2005, and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, 2008, which earned her an Academy Award nomination. Her portrayal of Cookie Lyon in Empire, 2015 to 2020, turned her into a cultural icon. Fierce, vulnerable, unstoppable. Yet even at the height of success, she battled exhaustion and depression, admitting that fame often felt like a mask that cracked when the cameras stopped. Through therapy, faith, and activism, she rebuilt her strength piece by piece. At 55 years old in 2025, Taraji P. Henson stands as one of Hollywood's most respected and influential women. A Golden Globe winner, producer, and advocate, she continues to act, write, and speak publicly about self-worth and healing. With an estimated net worth of $12 million, Taraji has transformed pain into purpose. Brendan Jefferson as Blake Jordan. Brendan Richard Jefferson was born on June 3, 1986, in San Bernardino, California. At 11 years old, he appeared in Smart Guy, 1997, as Blake Jordan, one of TJ's closest friends, known for his comic timing and mischievous grin. His youthful energy made him a natural fit for the role, and audiences quickly grew fond of his chemistry with the rest of the young cast. But fame came too soon, and it wasn't easy to handle. After Smart Guy, Brendan appeared in The Other Me, 2000, and Holes, 2003, showing real promise as a young actor. Yet behind the scenes, he faced the same uncertainty that many child stars do. Offers slowed down, and as he grew older, he found it hard to transition into adult roles. Over time, Brendan stepped away from Hollywood and focused on living a more private life. He explored writing and mentoring young performers, hoping to help them avoid the isolation he once felt. Now at 39 years old, Brendan Jefferson lives a low-profile life in California. He occasionally appears at nostalgic conventions and reunions, celebrating Smart Guy and early 2000 Disney stars. His estimated net worth is around $500,000, modest, but earned through steady, independent work. Christina Milian as Pretty Girl, and Kiki Christina Milian, was born on September 26, 1981, in Jersey City, New Jersey. At just 16 years old, she appeared in Smart Guy, 1997, as Pretty Girl, later credited as Kiki, a charming, confident teen who turned heads in one of TJ's most memorable episodes. But behind her sweet smile and early fame, Christina's life unfolded in waves of ambition, heartbreak, and relentless reinvention. After her breakout as a teen actor, she conquered the early 2000s music scene with hits like AM to PM and Dip It Low, her success shining as bright as her voice. Yet her love life became a storm she couldn't always control. Her marriage to producer The Dream in 2009 ended in divorce just 3 months later, a collapse that left her heartbroken and publicly humiliated. She later admitted that she cried for weeks, feeling betrayed when photos surfaced of him with another woman. That pain forced her to retreat, rebuild, and rediscover her strength through motherhood. Her path after that was one of bold resilience. Christina faced more failed relationships, with Nick Cannon, Jazz Prince, and even rapper Lil Wayne, each teaching her a new lesson about love and fame. But when she met French singer M. Pecora in 2017, she found the balance she had longed for. Together, they built a family and a quiet life in Paris, welcoming 2 sons and turning their focus to stability and peace. Professionally, she reinvented herself as both entrepreneur and actress, co-owning Beignet Box in Los Angeles and starring in Netflix's Falling in Love, 2019, and Meet Me Next Christmas, 2024. Now at 44 years old, Christina Milian continues to thrive between 2 worlds, Hollywood and Paris, fame and family. She stars as Maria Lagerta in Dexter, Original Sin, 2024 to 2025, and runs her lifestyle brand while raising her children in France. Her estimated net worth of $5 million is proof of a career built not just on beauty and talent, but on endurance. Natashia Williams as Janice and Alina. Natashia Williams Block was born on August 2, 1978, in Pontiac, Illinois. At just 19 years old, she appeared in Smart Guy, 1997, as Janice, later returning as Alina, a stylish, confident young woman whose brief but radiant screen time made her stand out among the show's guest stars. But behind that cool exterior, Natasha's real life was far more complex. Growing up biracial in the Midwest, she often spoke about the tension of not fully belonging to any world that honesty carried into her early years at UCLA, where she juggled classes, modeling, and acting auditions while writing essays about race and self-worth. Hollywood came calling fast. She appeared in Saved by the Bell, The New Class, How to Be a Player, and Malcolm and Eddie. Before her modeling career exploded, she became the face of campaigns while appearing in music videos with artists like Usher, Genuine, and Sting. Her breakthrough came with lead roles in So Little Time alongside the Olsen twins, and later She Spies, where she held her own next to Natasha Henstridge. Yet success brought exhaustion and self-doubt. After the cancellation of She Spies, Natasha turned inward, questioning the superficiality of fame. In 2008, she surprised fans by auditioning for American Idol, reaching the top 25 and revealing another side of her talent, a soulful, powerful voice shaped by vulnerability. She later released music, wrote a book, Mind Over Model, An Internal Journey Through the World of Externals, and launched her jewelry brand, Gypsy Posh by Tosh, channeling creativity into craftsmanship and mindfulness. Now at 47 years old, Natashia Williams lives a quieter life, balancing her artistic passions with family. Married to Brevin Block since 2006, she's a devoted mother of 2 and an advocate for self-acceptance in the entertainment industry. Though she still appears occasionally on screen, from The Vampire Diaries to indie thrillers, her focus today is inner peace and artistry. With an estimated net worth of $3 million, she has built not just a career, but a philosophy. That true beauty begins when you stop performing and start living. So after 26 years, which Smart Guy star's story surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories.